Hi, this is Brian from The Sleeping Elephant. I'm going to review The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains by Nicholas Carr. I have finally gotten the chance to review this book. I mention this quite frequently in all my other reviews. Plus, this is my third time reading the book. It is that good and it is a short read. It reminds you of the current environment. The internet age is the headline age, as you can see in the title. For brains, are we getting smarter or are we getting dumber? The main focus you should concentrate on is, why did Nicholas Carr write this book? The main point is that all these distractions from the internet, from our cell phone, is that this is not natural with all these sounds, visual displays, increased screen time, internet antics, wild advertising, news feeds that are not delivered to your house, but almost inserted into you like an IV. And are we losing our concentration abilities? By not having the ability to focus, to have deep, attentive thoughts and concentration abilities, is considered the latter. And how can we improve on ourselves? These are all theories since there's not much medical research to back this up, since this is so new what has been happening in the digital revolution. Personally, I love tech, but there's a little bit of responsibility that you have to take into account. Individuals are becoming chronic scatterbrains. There's a new generation coming up. The new millennials are somewhat the experiment of what's going on, and then the younger generations as well with more screen time. And I personally notice that people are walking around like zombies. They don't really pay attention to what you talk. And I may be boring, but some people are spaced out just thinking about that next Snapchat or next dopamine high. It's real. The opposite of shallow is depth, and the shallow media is propagandizing its packages and its mediums of message that are manipulating these zombies. Words of action or well-thought insight, just like the bluntness of the Dokkodo, doesn't register. The bullshit distractions get all the attention, and advertising goes where the eyeballs go. One important finding that Nicholas Carr found out is that our brains are plastic, that it's considered neuroplasticity. And what that means is that our brains are not really fixed, that if it's repeatedly touched in a certain direction, or let's say it's like riding a bicycle, where at first you had training wheels and then you took it off and then you slowly started to ride in a straight line versus having the wobbles. And slowly you get better and better and you can ride faster and more confident. The speed of the connection and the direction of point A to point B in your brain becomes smooth and as free as the wind. The quickest reaction or the quickest response is not the best. People are getting more shallow responses and shallow answers, not the slow, non-judgmental, and being patient to formulate an opinion of the matter. The brain changes with time, just like in mastery, and these are triggered not by Jigglypuff or Trigglypuff. But it is important to know we are living in a world of era of distraction. Businesses are doing the best to get your attention, to sell you a product. Social media is on rapid fire. It is growing fast and destroying the old news channels and old television mediums. More money and technology are thrown at ads that are very creative to get a response out of you, especially these negative, fear-based responses. They're seeking just conversion. They don't care. And after about 2005, blogging became real big, and blogging anything now is free. The real connection is almost rare or hard to get. It's a short circuit shortcut, an amygdala hijacked with maximum popcorn brain. There's increased internet time with cell phones be around you 24/7. The visual capabilities are almost in the shape of fireworks. People's eyes are becoming very fast, not so much in a hunter-gatherer focused on an animal to shoot your arrow and to have for dinner, but are just pixels on a screen, whether it be your mouse, animations, or video. Many of these mediums are manipulations. Much more multitasking is enhanced and encouraged versus deep focus. Our body and brain circuitry are becoming molded in a different way now. It's become more visible. Intellectual technology such as clocks and maps are expressed to be an abstract form of data. It's an era of big data, and these lines that people focus on are not important. There's the analytical, and the concept of time is being constrained where it can put stress on your body. And the concept of time is not slow, say, like Peruvian time. Somewhat in the matter of speed is king. Books are no longer read, just like the book I'm reviewing, and movies and, say, YouTube videos are becoming the medium of choice. And with these clock technologies and the maps, there was a loss of spatial awareness, such as a Polynesian raft that they used to navigate the seas. They use the winds, stars, and tides to travel around, and now they just have GPS. That this type of automation and shortcut, you lose this connection with nature. And that's called the loss of spatial awareness. You think you know, but you really don't know. You're being cut off from the truth. Many other parts of the body are affected, such as there's high-speed positive reinforcement with clicks and sounds and likes. You have to learn how to mute your phone, which I somewhat do. I wouldn't be able to read all these books if I had my phone next to me. There's a big effect with the hippocampus and memories. There's been so much technological innovation. I want you to look at. Nicholas Carr talks about the printing press and how that changed, where books were the realm and people were excited to get that book. They had to retrain to be attentive thinkers, that the books did not have many pictures. They were constricted texts, front and back pages or whatever, to get this information to the masses. Normal peasants were able to read books. They were of great quality for whatever they had. There's obviously focus and there was obviously a long learning curve to learn how to read. But once they got going, the people that learned how to read, they were able to excel at life. There was organizations such as Pages. The books encourage concentration and paying attention. And this is something you should pay attention to, is that people's brains that are able to read books, take in data with ease and intelligence, they're going to thrive in the future, not the zombies that are just internet focused. They are addicted to the internet and they can filter out pretty much anything with distraction. It's normal to want distraction. You may be avoiding something in your life, but the distractions don't aid you or the people around you. And also imagine with this virtual reality and artificial intelligence coming into play, where you're going to have virtual reality ecstasy. It's going to carry you with it not many good things. Everything's going to be visual, as I was saying. You're not going to be connected with life. You're going to be connected in some dreamland. And it's going to carry with it these chemical concoctions and cocktails of dopamine and serotonin to give you even more popcorn brain, a maximum effect. And it's going to be like Pavlov's dog or those rats pressing those levers you're going to want more and more popcorn. There's almost no concentration being used with people. Everything's being a speed and very fast. There's no natural way to extract the information or connect. It's superficial thinking versus deep thought. And this does not aid creativity. It breeds reactivity. This is one of his most standout findings that really aided me, what I want to avoid doing and what I want to enhance and learn from. So obviously it's about reading. And what the typical person nowadays with their scrolling techniques on the internet with the hyperlinks and so much information into the develop a security system or a reaction to all these ads and to avoid really get spammed by email filters and calls of action, that people are reading in an F formation. And what that means is they're reading the title, then they'll read the next first or two sentences, then they'll kind of skim a little, but they'll stay on the left side. And then if there's another paragraph, they will read that line. So it creates like an F, like a series of Fs. They're not reading the whole document. And what is on the internet now is a ton of information. There's recycled information. You have to discriminate and say no to these low value products, especially ads, news channels. News channels don't get any really credibility nowadays. They've gone downhill. They're not going out of business, but it's changing. Let the free market reign. The scrolling is a search tool where it's a Google search where you want to find things fast. And sometimes the fastest thing is not the best. And I believe Nicholas Carr calls it, say if you enter something in Google search, that Google's creating information plantations where the most popular or whatever they recommend is not always going to be the right answer. It could be promoted or it could be served to you to eat all up. There's the memory versus the reminder. Also, writing heightens consciousness, where if it's too fast, you're not going to be aware. You're just going to be a semi-live zombie. A big plus side to the internet is it's directional. It's not like, the television, where you are just a consumer. Packets are being sent and received with the internet. That's a plus. And we have outsourced our memory brain to not remember certain facts, say in history, or there's just so much information that we're not going to be able to download everything. But you want to take the best or the most essential that you need. However, you want to have an adequate amount of substance. And this is my personal opinion. I don't think Google and the YouTube search engine are going to be as important. There's going to be competitors that they used to be very important. There's becoming more social media platforms that also enable search, and they can do their own search. And they typically get more attention with Snapchat, Instagram, and I will say YouTube just because it's one of my favorites. But I do think Amazon is going to create a video product to challenge YouTube. Here's a big takeaway. It's an illusion that we are given choices. We are actually being given a script. This is just like in Hollywood where they read off the dramatic antics and the lies from actors and actresses. We're obviously not being fed the truth. It's bullshit almost. Many people are being fed zombie hamburgers, and it's making it easier to swallow propaganda. The zombies are a low state of consciousness, not at a Mount Everest type of high. Hopefully the enlightenment will come. To close things off, I want to remind you to read this book if you've not read it, or read it again and to think deeply about what's going on around you. We are living in an era of distraction, and you must take action to increase concentration and to get real legit experiences in your life. Watch less TV, only use Twitter maybe once or twice a day, block the Facebook newsfeed, get ad block, and stay updated on it. I have 3 ad blocks on my computer. I don't know if it's working or not. It seems to be working. I don't think it's 3 times as strong. However, it seems to work. Technology is seductive and it's gripping us. It can improve your life, and I have many products that I will go over to increase your attention span, such as my Evernote classes and tips and tricks to read better and to read books in general. That's the whole purpose of my channel right now, is to get others to read. And let's just see how many I could do. It's almost like no one wants to feel aware or to have their day disturbed when they're walking around or staring at their smartphone. There's just too much mindless zombie entertainment and a love for distraction when you could really use this time to talk to someone and do more energetic things. I do recommend you be independent as possible from this shallow world. Go to nature. You don't need a smartphone at all times. Chill out and relax. It is very easy to think highly of yourself when you read books, while the zombie masses are watching other forms of glitter media. I will be reviewing his next book, Glass Cage, on my next video. Thanks for listening.